Okay, so I want to put a quick video out there about whether it's still worth having a side hustle in 2026. It's fast approaching, it is only a few months away in real terms. So I want to go into the mechanics of it so that you're able to make a clean call for yourself. I'll go into the pros and the cons and whatever else. Um, and let's see. So I guess first of all, you need to realize that right now, one roughly 1 in 3 people in the UK, 1 in 3 workers, has a side hustle. So that's to say that 1 in 3 people in the UK workforce basically have a second job. People are needing to supplement wages, they're needing to patch holes in household budgets. Many of them are simply testing business ideas on the side. Most of these fail, of course they do. That's the whole point of testing them. But the growth there in the side hustle market is coming from two big forces. The first one is that real wages have been weak for years now, really. So people need extra income. It's not even a case that they want it, it's a case that they need it. They would ordinarily lose their homes without it. And certainly that would put their families in peril. Secondly, things like technology and platforms that have sprung up over the last few years have made it ever easier to sell a skill or to monetize something that you can do, to make a product and sell it, or simply offer a service without massive upfront costs. And I've been side hustling on and off probably since around, I'm going to say since around 2010. And the landscape's changed massively in terms of what you're able to offer now as a side hustle. Back when I was doing it, really it was drop ship and a bit of arbitrage. That's to say, I was buying products on Amazon or eBay, wherever they were cheaper, and then selling them on Amazon or eBay, wherever they were more expensive, and then pocketing the difference. So the access to these facilities to sell skills or to leverage the ability to make a product is huge. It's come on leaps and bounds. And it's really now pushed side hustling into the mainstream. It was something that perhaps 1 in 10, maybe 1 in 20 people did. And it was just something you did if you wanted to get a nicer car and you wanted to cover car payments, or if you wanted that extra holiday for your family a year, you'd side hustle, you'd get it, and that'd be it. It was a means to an end. But the economics of this matter. Basically, a side hustle only pays if the time that you put into it is worth more than the time that you could spend elsewhere. And that includes rest time. So the trap that most people fall into, and this is from experience, is treating every spare hour like it's free money, when in reality it's not. What you're trading is you're trading sleep, you're trading family time, time with your kids, and the chance to level up a more primary income stream. And people generally miss this. I've missed this in the past when I've side hustled. Now, it's something that I only became really tuned into perhaps after doing it for about 5 years. So it was around 2015, 2016 that I realized this, and then changed the way that I look at side hustles, changed the way that I allocate time to them. Tax, of course, is the other big issue. Now, the UK trading allowance means that basically your first £1,000 of gross trading income is completely tax free. And that's great for casual sellers. It's great if you've got maybe an eBay business and you just want to test the market and try a few products out, see how it goes. It's great if perhaps you're a musician and you're doing a few gigs, maybe one a month to see how the market is, that kind of thing. But once you exceed that, you do have to declare it. And you have to declare it for self assessment. Now, the moment your side hustle becomes habitual or profitable, basically you then face more admin. You do also face national insurance obligations, which will be enhanced. And you at that point do need to treat it like a business. So you can't let small profits suddenly become a surprise tax bill. And this is something, again, that many people forget. And it's especially important now with HMRC using AI to do checks on social media, checks on earnings, checks with crypto, checks with banking. There are checks on top of checks. So you really do need to be on top of it. You really do need to declare every bit of income that you make to avoid falling under the wheels of HMRC. But most importantly, and again, something that people tend to forget, you need to claim everything you can back. If there are expenses that you've got, if you're using a vehicle, if you're, wear and tear, if you're using part of your house as an office to run your side hustle, if you're buying things that enable you to do it, whether it's parts boxes to store items or whether it's labeling machines to sell them, it might be that you're buying envelopes to ship them. It might be that you bought a laptop or an iPad to manage the inventory. All of these things, you need to basically put those in as claims to reduce that tax bill. Now, I'm not an accountant. I'm not a tax advisor, but I know this much, that there are basically legal ways that you can claim everything that you can. And a good accountant will be able to show you how to do this, or very often just do it for you. Things like vehicle allowance, mileage, money per mile, that kind of thing. It all helps reduce that tax bill. And it's legal, more importantly. So, what's the practical framework for 2026? So, what I would do, and this is from someone that's done, I reckon I've done maybe 50 side hustles quite easily in probably about 15 years. I must have tried at least 50 different things. There are currently 3 that have stuck. So failure is real. You'll get used to it. You really will get used to it. But as long as you don't make the same mistake twice, then you should see it as learning. So the first thing that you'll need to do is to decide on the actual objective. Are you making spare cash? Are you testing a scalable product? Is it like a beta phase? Or are you building an eventual replacement for your actual job, your primary income? Because the tactics that you use are going to change depending on whether it's a hobby that you're making a little bit of money from, or just covering your costs on and doing it for enjoyment, whether it's a side income and then you've got all the tax and the admin that comes with that, or it's your eventual business, in which case you need to think about scalability and actually making it more profitable and fast. Another thing you need to do is you need to measure ruthlessly. You need to track your hours, track the revenue that you're making, pair one off against the other, see if it's worth it. If you're earning less than minimum wage after overheads, then you need to look at automating something, you need to look at raising prices, or just kill the project and then move on to a new one. Because it's not going to help you if you're, flogging a dead horse, for example. There's no point in putting hours into something and you earning £3 an hour from it when that time could be invested elsewhere into something more profitable. Another thing that you need to do is to build channels, not just one-offs. The one-off sales model, things like flipping goods, it worked great when the margins were generous. When I did it in 2010, 2011, the margins were great. I was on 30 to 50% margins on most products. It was fantastic. Now, so many people have jumped on that bandwagon. So many people have popped up being dropship experts on YouTube and Facebook and everywhere else. So many pyramid schemes have popped up. There's no money in it. Now, literally, unless you're the first onto a product, the margins can be as little as 5 or 10%. It's not worth your time. In 2026, the winners are going to be the people who build repeatable offers, things like subscription services, things like course products, and we've seen loads of those pop up recently. Things like local recurring clients, or maybe you've got a branded DTC shop with email capture, something like that. DTC is direct to consumer, by the way. Another thing that you need to do, very importantly, is to protect your downside. You need to use tax-efficient wrappers intelligently. Things like ISAs, pension overpayments, trading allowances. All of these help increase tiny incomes. But as I said, don't try and dodge tax. You can't. You won't. It's not going to happen. If you're unsure, talk to an accountant, because the money that you spend having a chat with an accountant could save you thousands long term over the year. Do it early. Do it, when you've made your first sale, go speak to an accountant straight away, basically, and keep good records. Keep records monthly if you can, even more often than that. But update them monthly. All your ins, all your outs, your time, everything else. Make sure it's tracked down to the hour. See if you're performing well. Another thing that you need is platform risk management. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. If you're an eBay seller, fantastic. eBay's a credible marketplace. So why don't you sell on Amazon? Why don't you sell on Etsy? Why don't you sell on Rakuten? There are other platforms out there that you can sell on. If you're into clothing, you've got things like Depop, Vinted, and so on. And you need to use these marketplaces to get more customers. But your aim should always be to capture emails and then aim to move the customer to a platform that's within your control. So it's okay being an eBay seller, selling clothing. You might get repeat business if you're selling pants and socks online. It could be fantastic, but you're paying eBay fees. You're beholden to an eBay service. You've got other people in competition with you, which obviously sucks. So it's better if you can sell to those people once on eBay. When you ship the item, you put a little compliment slip in there with your website address, and you offer them a 10% discount on their first order. That way, that customer then always buys from your website. So you've used eBay or Amazon or wherever to get the customer. They get their initial cut. You might break even. You might make a couple of quid. And after that, they're buying from you direct. It's common sense, and it absolutely does work. And I've done this with different products over the years. It does work. So you need to capture emails and move them to a platform within your control, like an e-commerce website. Things like short form video clips on Facebook, that can also help because that's engaging. People will volunteer emails more readily to a video ad rather than a textual ad. So use these things to your advantage. That's the playbook that I'd use, and it's a playbook that's worked in the past. The last thing that you need to do is to invest in leverage. Time is finite. You've only got so much of it. So where you can, you need to pay for tools that automate things like admin, things that can automate your listings or at least populate the content, like perhaps AI. Even things that can automate shipping, print labels out automatically when a sale is made. All of these things make sense. You need to consider outsourcing repetitive, boring stuff, because once the revenue stabilizes, it's going to free up your time. So the question is, are side hustles worth it in 2026? The answer is yes, they will be if you treat them like a source of optional income and you use them to test ideas, which you can then either run with or just ditch. In that case, they absolutely are. If you expect overnight replacement for a primary income, if you expect to, scale from a t-shirt printing company to Gymshark in 12 months, you're going to be sadly disappointed. You'll burn out, and that's literally what will happen. So going into 2026, prioritize high value skills that scale, things like coaching, digital products, specialist services. Keep your books clean. Use the trading allowances, use tax wrappers, use expenses for those items that can save you on your tax bill. Use them as they are intended. For casual and occasional earnings, side hustles are still very worth it. As long-term earnings, you need something that you can scale. So those are really the two takeaways. But what are your thoughts on this? How many of you out there have a side hustle? How many of you out there have tried side hustles and failed? How many have had side hustles and succeeded? Maybe you got it right first time. Drop it in the comments, let me know. Just remember, the advice that you give, the comments that you make, it might help somebody else that's in the same boat that you are in, that's struggling to make it. They might be leveled up and do better, be better, and have more because of the advice that you give. So YouTube's going to put another video there. Like, follow, subscribe, ring the bell, all that jazz, and there will likely be another video tomorrow. Goldman, peace out.